Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue the sample series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/premium. Today we're going to make a sample beat from scratch. You guys will see all the techniques I like to use. And let's see. So I don't even have a sample in mind. First step is understanding what hip hop is. Hip hop is basically, it used to be defined as combining two different sounds. You had a drum break most of the time, or a track with primary drums on it, and you had another track with the music. So they would combine a track with drums and a track with music, and that was what hip hop was and is. So to get that hip hop sound, we have to think the same way. So get you guys some drum breaks. Look at Reddit for drum breaks. You have Beat Butcher's drum breaks are the best on the planet, in my opinion. And then look for samples from Hip Hop is Red. Look at what else is there? Look at our Discord, discord.gg/BusyWorksBeats. Look for anywhere on Samplet. It's a great site too. Samplet.io is a great website. Okay, so now that you know where to find samples and the Internet Archive as well, let's right click and let's go. Actually, we're not going to use Serato right now. Let's just first start with the drum break because we want to get the rhythm of the drums. We don't want to start with the sample because there's no right or wrong. It's just harder to wrap drums around the sample than the other way around. So let's see if we can find some drum breaks in here. I know there's a folder, drum loops. Here we go. So that's very like Griselda-esque. So it looks like they chopped up those samples for us. Let's see what else we could find here. Very like Jay Dilla-esque. It's pretty dope. Let's drag that in. That's more like modern sounding. Let's pull that down. Let's double click, go to stretch mode under mode and grab your time tool. Lock that to the grid. I learned that from In the Mix. Hit Control L, send that to the mixer. So now we got to find out which tempo sounds good. Now we're at double time by default. Let's pull our tempo down to about 84 is a good boom bap BPM. Let's double click. Let's pull the time to about half. So 84 is a really good tempo to start with for boom bap. Let's go back to our channel rack, switch this to all so we can see all our sounds. Now let's find a sample that fits that vibe. That's very Jay Dilla-esque type of vibe. Let's go to our samples. I'm just gonna go to the Hip Hop is Red. I'm just gonna click on random samples. There's no right or wrong. You guys can hit shift left click to jump around the sample. So I'm clicking around to see like if I randomly click to the rhythm, will it match the vibe? Yeah, okay, so we could jump around this sample pretty easily. For that reason, I'm gonna use Serato sample. It just saves a lot of time. So if you guys are really getting into sampling, this tool makes sampling so much easier. In FL Studio, it could easily take 5 steps to do one thing in here. So it saves a ridiculous amount of time. Let's just go to Find Samples. And now we're just going to press on the pads. This is called chop sampling. There's different styles of sampling. Phrase sampling, chop sampling, loop sampling, vocal bass sampling. There's resampling. There's a lot of ways to sample, and stem sampling as well. But let's just do the simple chop sample. Now, most people don't know how to end their music. They'll just chop something and loop it 1,000 times. Melody needs to resolve most of the time. So an easy way to think about a formula is like A, B, C, and it resolves at C. So it's like, so that duh is the ending. So now I need a duh, duh, duh. So we still got to find. We could do that 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3, and then 4, 5. 4. So at the ending, that's where you could do all these changes. I clicked in random notes, so we didn't. Let's hit Alt Q for now, unless we have to move the samples off the grid. We do want little gaps to tell the listener like we're sampling. So the little time gaps are important. So it goes blank, 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 blank. So that little tiny mute in here, which is like this small. If I didn't have that, it'd be too smooth. So we're gonna add these in. Because the advanced answer is that we need to play the samples that matches the swing in the drums. The drums are going boom, da-doom, da-doom. Whereas the samples are going 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no da-doom. So we have to play it as if we're playing. This is why having the drum break first is important. Now we can go back and rearrange the chops to musically match what we're trying to do. So instead of that random at the end, I'm going to change those. Okay, so now it's just a matter of lining up our sample chop with the actual drum and just listening, because we quantize the drums, the sample, remember, so everything is not perfectly lined up with the drum. Now we have that. Now let's add our bass line. Now this sample does have a bass line. It goes dun dun. We could either emphasize the sample bass line, or we could just add our own over top. So at the end here, we don't want the drums to just repeat. Let's change the snap to grid to like a beat. Let's zoom in. Hit Shift, left click to do a vertical slice. We could, let's grab the pencil tool, left click the edges here, pull this to here, and then hit Control B so that it just repeats. Now here at the end, I wanted to go do do, so we're gonna copy it twice over. Let's use this pencil tool here, drag it over, just copy it. So now we have more of an ending than just repeating the same thing. So what I'll do for the bass is just enhance the bass here. Let me show you guys a plugin you guys could use. Because the sample is sent to the mixer, we can open up the plugin called Fruity, I believe it's called Frequency Splitter. I forget the exact name. So let's pull it up here. Frequency, or it might just be called, let me find it first. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called Frequency Splitter. Yeah, Frequency Splitter. We're going to send the low frequencies to a different channel. So let's sidechain to send this somewhere else. Let's just left click the up arrow down here. Actually, let's not do that. Right click and sidechain to this track. And now what it will do is have this as an option. If we go to Frequency Splitter, we can right click the lows and now select that channel. So insert 9 is that channel. So now the lows will be sent to this. Okay, now we can determine what is the low frequency by using these crossover bands here. So I want anything below about 100 hertz to be the low frequencies. On the top left of the FL, it gives you the values, and that is sent out to that specific channel. And what we could do is mute the original channel so that it's not sent to the main channel, or duplicated in this case. So let's mute the output. Let's make sure. Actually, I don't think. Let me see. There we go. See how the bass is pretty low? Let's add some plugins to it. Now we're just beefing up the bass so that it's more full. All right, let's hear it with the sample. Okay, so at this point, it's just a matter of processing your sounds. So I'll show you guys a couple plugins here. Let's load up the plugin called Genome. Whoops, I don't know what I just clicked on. All right, I hit guitars. All right, wrong plugin. All right, let's load up a plugin called Genome. And this plugin will let us load up what are called NAM profiles. NAM profiles, basically, they run signals through outboard gear, compressors, rare outboard processors like, you know, clippers and different things. And what they'll do is model that using machine learning, and then basically you can send your sound through that machine at the settings they had it at. So basically, without buying the gear, you can run your sound through tens of thousands of dollars worth of outboard gear. Okay, using what are called NAM profiles. The only two companies I've rocked with are Past to Future Reverb has really good NAM profiles, but also Analog X is becoming my favorite company because they're just accurate. They're very accurate. So in Genome, the reason I'm showing you this plugin is you could load up stereo NAM profiles, which is huge, because in other plugins it only loads up mono, which is not going to help you guys with samples and drum breaks that have stereo information. Okay, so let's load up some of these from Analog X. Let's load up his distressor, for example, just to show you guys we can run our sound through I forget how much a distressor is, $2,000 compressor. So we're going to run our drums through this to add that realistic texture to it. Let's just hear it before and after. So here's before. Here's after. Now I wouldn't push the sound that hard. I was just showing you guys it's possible. Let's load up some more presets here. Now you can really hear the compression on this one, the smack on this one. So here's before. Here's after. So it really adds that dynamic and that snap to the drums. Let's mute the sample for a second just so you guys can hear the detail in the drums. I'll just keep switching it on and off. Listen for that crunch on this one. This one adds a lot of smack to the sound. So here's before. Here's after. So it's just like running your sound through these really expensive pieces of gear. And that's why companies sell different NAMM profiles, because they've trained the machine learning on their gear. So it's a whole new world of sound. All right, so my ear wants to hear more of that like smack sound on the drums. Let's pull back. Forgot what preset it was. I think it was this one, the distressor. So my ear wants to hear more of that distressor compressor on the drums for this track. And we can blend the mix level. The only thing is though, this plugin I don't think has a good like mix level where we could kind of turn up the effect, turn it down. It just is like all in or off. So I'm just gonna leave it all on. You guys can also run your samples through this as well. To save, here's what we'll do. Let's just kind of commit to that sound. We'll print this and then run our sample through some of those presets as well. Now, the only presets that I would really use on a sample would be maybe a preamp or compression. I wouldn't really run it through clippers and stuff. But let's just print this to audio. All right, so what I'll do with the sample is I'll run the sample through the LA2A. I'm just going to pause the video to render this, but basically we're just going to run the sample through the LA2A and then the drums ran through the distressor compressor. So now let's do this, and we're just going to render it so that we can save CPU. Now there are other plugins on the market that can do more unique combinations of NAMM profiles, but I'll wait to make a video on those. So basically what we have done is run our drums through a distressor, the sample through the LA2A, and we can always go back to the original sample chops if we don't like the tone. So here's the, let's do old versus new. Slice this in half. So let's do before and after. So here is the before sample and the pattern. Here's the after sample. Let's also do the before drums and then the after drums. That way we could combine and compare all of it. Okay. So here's before any processing. Here's after. Now we have a texture, we have a feeling to the sound. I might pull back the drums a little bit. Only thing I don't like about the drums compressed is the hi-hats are a little too sharp. For that reason, I'm just gonna save time for you guys, but that's the process. We can run it through the MPC, the ASR10. There's a lot of presets. I just went through a couple. But I do like the sample through the LA2A. Let's compare just the sample this time. Something about the LA2A just, I don't know, just stands out to me. But the drums, will come back to those processed drums. I would like to blend in the SSL sound, but there was no mix level on that plugin. So there are drawbacks to using this technique. Now we can go in and add our bass layer, just little reinforced bass sounds. I'm going to use my synths to add sounds over top of this track. So this is how we can add our, excuse me, our own touch to the sample. But this is dependent on what you guys have, so it's not a hard rule to use these sounds. I'm just adding my own sounds I like. I'm gonna add probably 3 more sounds in here. So all these little texture layers add up. Okay, so now I'm taking this sample kind of to the furthest degree. I forgot we did sample splitting, frequency splitting earlier. Let's see if that even is. Oh, that's right. We moved it to channel 7. That's why. All right, so I forgot about the frequency splitter. Let's try routing this to track 8. And then rerouting our bass. And then we can control the fader here to turn the bass off. That would be an easy way to automate the bass. So on is, 100% up. And then off would be 0. That way we have room to add our own bass. So all these little synth textures add up over time. They sound really unique. And here's where we can add a bass. Let's switch to the Kronos. You guys can't see it because it's not a plugin, it's a keyboard. Might change the sound. That one gets a little repetitive. Bass could be better. I just don't want to sit here for like 3 days trying to get the timing with this audio. One way I kind of trick the ears, I create that stereo delay so we can't tell when it actually hits. Okay, so I just don't want to sit here for like 3 hours adding a small bass line. I think the beat's done. Let's hear it all the way through. So I routed the sample to the same mixer channel so that we can spread the bass. Alright, so you guys can get the project files for free at busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium if you want to learn how to make beats like the pros. Peace out, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.